Perfect. How you guys doing? This is Set here once again. King of Hell, the High Evolutionary, the King the Conqueror. X-name on the Jonathan Major, but I am Major Hater on 1523 on Twitch. So how's everybody doing? I hope everybody doing good. I hope everybody doing great. So I so I've been getting a lot of feedback from my videos lately. A lot of positive feedback from my videos lately, but I feel like there could be more. We could talk more about this because at the end of the day, okay, I can say that I'm an entity that knows all, does all, and whatever, right? And you might believe it. And I'm pretty sure in some cases, some people do actually believe it. And that's the reason why they don't fucking say nothing when I make a video, which is sad. Because that's not the case. I don't know everything. Shit. Sometimes, man, I make a lot of... You have no idea. If, like, I watch my videos, right? Sometimes. And I make mistakes. They're not big mistakes. But it's still a mistake. You know what I mean? Like the other day, I made a video. I said there's more in binary numbers, that there's more ones than zero. That's not true. There's more zeros than ones. I be lying. I be straight up lying, you know. But it's not lying. But it's a mistake. I made a mistake, but nobody called me out on it. Nobody said nothing. Y'all just accepted the fucking thing I said and they just ran away with it. You know, no. Fucking, you know, check a nigga. Man. So, you know, and I make a lot of little mistakes like that because I rewatch my videos. Sometimes I do mistakes on purpose. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I make mistakes on purpose just to see if somebody's gonna say something. Right? If somebody's gonna catch that, oh, that was not accurate. Actually, this, and that. Not all the time, but I do it. You know, they're not big mistakes. They're not like mistakes that, you know, would cause you to your brain to mash and shit. No, just little, you know, grammatical errors or, you know, little misperceptions. Or things like that. It's on purpose. I do it on purpose. Not all the time. Sometimes I just made like the binary shit. That was a pure mistake. That was a mistake. It is not true. You know, there's more ones than zero. There's more zeros than ones. You know what I mean? But anyways, you know, that's why it's important to check what the person is fucking saying, to know if the person is saying it, and if you do disagree with somebody, there's your, you know, there's your way into the conversation. You know what I mean? So if you want to clarify somebody, or if you want to wipe somebody off of the map of the playing field, that's a perfect way to do it. Pay attention. Notice the errors, call out the person on the errors, and bada bing, bada boom. But hey, it is what it is. So what I really wanted to talk about is, I talked about something that was really important yesterday. Was it yesterday? Anyway, my last video, I said something that was really important. And you have to understand, like, okay, I know too much. I know too much things. And that's why I make mistakes sometimes, because it's hard to, you know, I'm hard to follow. Like, I have trouble following myself, like, sometimes, you know. So, because I know a lot of shit. I've been reading books since I was a kid, you know, and I never stopped because I actually like reading books. It's not a bad thing. I read a lot less today because I don't know. fell out of love with books. I don't know, or I just feel like I don't need, because this is what happens when you transcend reality, right? This little thing that happens when you transcend reality. You start to merge with reality, right? When you become part of the law, as Aleister Crowley would predominantly state, when you become the law, you don't just become a person that listens to the law. You're not just a person that speaks of the law. You are the law, right? So, little secret that I'm going to say here, that I'm pretty sure the gods are not going to be happy for me saying. But at this present time and moment, I don't really fucking care what the gods like and what the gods don't like. That's another story for another day. And the secret is, when you practice, when you evoke and invoke, right? When you practice with a demon, or you practice with a god or a spirit, if that spirit is your patron, there's a reason why that spirit is your patron. Maybe you are not on the level of figuring that out as of yet, or feeling it as of yet. But one day, or sooner or later, you will start to realize that this demon or this spirit or this god is actually you. You become one with the entity that you're using. So when I say I'm Lucifer, it's not a joke. I'm not kidding. I have become him. I am him. You know, I am what I am. I am. Right? That's what that means. Right? It's not God. We're not talking about God. God ain't shit. That's a lie. If Jesus don't exist, God don't exist. Those are lies. All right, those are lies that was put on by magicians and alchemists a long time ago that wanted to stay in power. That's what happened. Right? Those things don't exist. Everything else actually does. Everything else actually does. So when you practice, when you're working with a spirit, you're working with an entity, maybe you're not, because it takes time to actually become that entity, and it takes a specific kind of mindset to become an entity. Not everybody can become an entity, the entity that they work with, or not everybody is the entity that they work with. You need a specific mindset. You need a specific learning and a specific teaching in order to become the entity that you work with, right? So not everybody has that capability, even though you're probably good in magic, even though you're probably wise or something like that. Okay, but it's a specific mindset that you need to have in order to achieve that level. And you might achieve it if the spirit feels comfortable with you achieving that level. If the spirit feels comfortable with being you, right? Because some spirit might know that they are you, but they're not gonna let you be them. Not yet. It depends on your mindset. It depends on where you're going. And there's a reason why I'm saying all this. There's a specific reason why I'm saying all this. Thank you, Spirit, because I actually forgot. I'm channeling right now. I actually forgot what I was going to say, and now I remember what I... I'll be wilding. So, yeah, the thing is, I'm going to say it right now before I forget it. The concept of heaven, hell, Garden of Eden, Yggdrasil, all that beautiful paradisial mindset, right? All those beautiful things that we think about. You have to understand, it's also based on your mindset, right? I've been to hell. I have seen hell. Right? I have seen hell. And there's a lot of dead people in hell. Like the picture, some notions of hell that people depict are actually true, right? But not in essence. It's a difficult thing to accept. And for some people, it's a difficult thing to understand, right? If you stand at the gates of hell, it does not look like the gates of heaven. Pardon me for saying, but that's just fucking facts, right? If you stand at the gates of heaven, what people perceive or think is the gate of heaven is like a pearly gate. They call it the pearly gates. I don't know fucking why they call it the pearly gate, but whatever. Because every time, when they fucking draw it in the cartoon, it's not a pearl. It's a gold gate with clouds around it. And then, but then people keep using the expression, the pearly gates. You know, it's supposed to be pearls, right? But anyways, whatever. So, gates of hell are a little bit pearly, but not for the same fucking reasons. It's a door made of gore, right? It's a beautiful. I mean, to me, it's beautiful. You know, the colors are weird. You know, there's a bluish hue. It's gore. There's a lot of gore. It's dead bodies. Basically, it's made out of dead bodies. It's made out of dead body parts, right? And a common man, or a man that tends to misjudge things, will stand in front of the gates of hell and will stand in terror of it, or will see it as something that he needs to stay away from. But that's not the case. Satan is the symbol. S represents hope. The Kryptonian symbol for hope is the letter S. Satan is in fact me. I am in fact a symbol of hope. I am not the symbol of despair. The reason why, if a normal common person stands at the gates of hell and sees the door full of gore, he will presume that this is despair. In one case, he's right. In another case, he's wrong. It depends on who's standing at the gate. For you see, my gates are not made out of the bodies of the innocent. It's made out of the bodies of the idle minds, of the guilty, right? And I will not say guilty again. I will say idle minds, because the concept of good and evil is only for people that see life in black and white. Right? Because you can do evil shit, but it's actually good for somebody. And you can do good things, but it's actually evil for somebody. Right? Because right now we're seeing it right now. A lot of people with the woke bullshit. That's a lot of people trying to do good, but it's actually evil. Woke is not good. It's evil. Right? You're not helping nobody. You're actually ruining what we tried to build. You're actually ruining the progress that we're trying to go forward to, because humans are not interested in what you're having sex with. I don't care if you have sex with animals. I don't care if you have sex with dudes. I don't care if you have sex with girls. That's not the point. The point is, we're trying to build a civilization, and we're trying to take the civilization to the fucking limit, to the part that as far as it can go. That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to talk about your sexual preferences. So wokeism is actually evil. It sounds good. It's a lot of people that they're trying to use love, and understanding. They're trying to make people more understanding and more loving towards stuff that doesn't really matter. And that's the reason why it's evil, because now you're stopping the progress. You're stalling progress. So those people might end up in hell, right? I might end up walking all over their dead bodies, right? And the reason why that is because they have created their space in hell. And that's the dangerous part about having an idle mind. Idle minds are the seed of evil, right? It's the root of evil. The root of all evil is not money. The root of all evil is an idle mind, right? So what you perceive persists. Where energy flows, energy goes, right? I forgot that saying. I forgot how to say whatever. So where energy goes, where attention is, where your mental attention is, that's where your energy flows, right? So you have to understand that there is a root to everything, right? And it's like when you have a computer program, you have root programs. It don't matter what program that you created. It doesn't matter, like, what who cares? You can create whatever you want, but there is a root to whatever you're creating, right? And you have to understand that part, right? So if you choose to do bad, you have to be aware that the root, or something good, you have to understand the root of what you're doing, right? So let's use people that transgenders that are trying to beat women in sports. You feel like you're doing something positive. That's insanity. It's an example, but I'm pretty sure everybody understands that that's complete insanity. And some people, actually not everybody understands that shit, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people agree with that's complete insanity. But it's still a good example because it's still happening anyway. So that means a lot of people, whether they like it or not, are accepting it, and they're not rejecting it. And they're not rejecting it because they don't want other people to think that they're fucking homophobic, or they're this, or some kind of phobia, and the stuff like that. And then the government's involved, and then this and that, right? So to skip all that shit, all the ton of bullshit that's coming their way, they just say, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to let this fucking guy compete with women. Fuck that, right? So there's a root to that too. There's a root to that line of thinking at the end of the day. And there's a root, but let's use the guy that chooses to do that, right? So in his mind, he's trying to make his humanity accepted by all people, right? That's fine and dandy. In some shape or form, there's even a little bit of positivity in there, right? There's a little bit of positive in there because you're trying to make people accept everybody for who they are, right? Some bullshit like that, whatever. But the root of it still stems from something devious. It still stems from an idle mind. Not devious. It stems from an idle mind, because like I said, the concept of good and evil is only, something that's relative to humanity. But the root of it stems from an idle mind, because you're not using your mind to progress. You are actually regressing. You're not giving a fuck about everybody else and what we're trying to do and what is really going on, or what we're really trying to create, or what people really would want out of life. Instead, you're having an idle mind. Your mind is staying stagnant and rigid on one particular subject. So that is in essence karma, right? So people don't believe in karma. Karma does exist. People say, well, karma, it doesn't mean what you think it means. No, it does not. But it does mean this. Karma is a result of something that you do repetitively, right? Karma does not dictate good and evil. Karma is not good and evil. Karma only gives you back the thing that you ask for over and over and over and over again. So the concept of hell and heaven is the same. So if you do good or bad shit, whatever, but the root of it is from an idle standpoint, where you're not progressing, when you're not trying to understand yourself, when you're not doing better yourself, and you're just staying stuck, rigid, and basically rigid, stuck, and what's the word I'm looking for here? Not complacent, but whatever, rigid and stuck, right? You're staying two-dimensional. You're staying two-dimensional about something, and you're not thinking about the third aspect of it, right? And you don't care. You're progressing your own karma towards what you are doing, right? So at the end of the day, people that end up in my domain, or people that chose to be there, they want to get walked all over. They chose to be this. They chose this karma because they could change. I don't have to do anything. I don't influence people to do things. I don't push them to do anything. I don't do that. The people, the bodies that canvases hell, is a canvas of people that made themselves that way. Because the energy that you put into something has to end up somewhere. So, and it's really up to the people that, it's really up to you. You can get fooled. And if you are fooled by, just because you listened to somebody lie to you, that doesn't mean you're going to end up in hell. Just because somebody lied to you and you believed it, you're not going to go to hell. That's not how that works. The person that lies to you also might not end up in hell. And that's unfair. But that's life. And life is not fair. But he might end up in hell if he keeps lying and 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 keeps, and he bases his whole life off of lying. So he created, it's like everybody generates their own energy. Everybody generates their own energy. So the more he lies, the closer he is to the concept of hell. The closer, the more idle his mind becomes. Because when you have ideas like that, when you have ideas that are not progressive, if you have ideas that are not, how do I say, logical. If you have ideas that are not helpful to yourself, then you are having an idle mind. You put your mind on pause. And whether you like it or not, that is still a form of energy. You're still creating a form of energy, and that energy has to go somewhere. It cannot go to paradise. That energy can't go to paradise. It has to come to me, because that's what I'm here for. That's what I take care of. That's my garden. That's my Garden of Eden. Other people's Garden of Eden is a beautiful place with grass and trees and blah, blah, blah. My Garden of Eden is dead bodies, blood, gore, and all that shit. People screaming, blah, 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 blah. You know, that's my Garden of Eden. You know, that's what I prefer. You know, well, it's not what I prefer. It's just what I have to do. It's the only, I don't have a choice, because somebody lied. Somebody else created this plane of existence, and this plane of existence must be tended to. It must be tended to. So that's my responsibility. I took it upon myself to take care of this plane of existence with all these dead bodies, right? I still did my job, and I'm still around. People choose not to discover who I am. They could if they wanted to. They choose not to. And dare I say, good riddance to these people. Because the average lifespan of a human being is 0 to 100. The average lifespan is 0 to 100. In that 0 to 100 time span, that's a lot of years. You spent 100 years trying to believe in something that is not. But like I said once before, if you believe a lie, that does not make you guilty of having an idle mind. It does not make you guilty. But it doesn't mean that you're going to go to paradise either. You might end up in purgatory. You might end up coming back here again, like me. You know, so because my human body had to realize these things before it became something else, whether I like it or not. So I'm guilty of having, probably in the past, I'm guilty of having an idle mind too, at the end of the day. So when people come to my domain, it's not necessarily out of evil from my part or from their part. It depends on the efficiency of their mindset. It depends on the perspective that they chose to hold the world in. I do not have an idle mind. I do not have an idle mind. I do not just walk in hell, I walk in heaven. A lot of people think when Lucifer said that he was going to make his kingdom in the throne of heaven, that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. I'm not, there's no obligations to me to be staying in there. I can go wherever I want. I can do whatever I want. I can go wherever I want. I don't care. It doesn't matter. To you, maybe, not to me. You can choose to believe whatever you want, but me, I know, I know what I know. I do what I do. So there's a reason why he said that. And you have to understand, the Bible is crap. But none of the things that's written in the Bible is written for absolutely no reason. So you have to understand that there's a reason why he specifically stated that he was going to make his kingdom, he was going to make a throne in the kingdom of heaven, because that's exactly what happened. It's not something that's going to happen. It's something that already happened. When you're reading the Bible, you're not reading the future. You're reading the past. You're reading about things that already happened before. So, just like in the Matrix, the architect says, this is the sixth iteration of the Matrix. So this could be the sixth iteration of this planet. In the Bhagavad Gita, they state that this world has existed 5 times before. This exact world, not million, billions of years of a world. No, this exact moment happened 5 times already. There's a Christian or Catholic belief that also believe that this is the 7th iteration of this planet, that we have done exactly what we are doing at this precise exact moment 7 times before. We're not talking about multi-dimensions right now. We're not talking about multi-dimensions. We're not talking about alternate universes. We're talking about right now, this timeline, this precise exact timeline, this precise exact planet. And we're not talking about like, oh, back in the days, they were more evolved and then they died. No. We're talking about this precise moment happened before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times before. Right? So, when you're reading the Bible, when you're misjudging the devil, when you are misjudging God, your misjudgment, your misguidance stems from a place of, oh, this is good and this is evil. It stems from a place of, this is going to happen in the future. No. This already happened. This is what is. I guess that's some reason why some people feel like the devil has already been defeated. You cannot defeat the devil. You can't defeat the devil. That's not a thing. It's impossible. You can't. Defeating the devil is like, you would tear your body apart. If you actually succeeded to do that, your body would tear itself apart. You would disintegrate. Because you would be removing a part of yourself, a mandatory and obligatory part of yourself, right? You would be tearing apart your atoms, basically. Because your atoms are not just made of God particles, they're made of demon particles too. So defeating the devil is impossible, because at the end of the day, you are the devil. You are God, but you are also the devil. So you cannot defeat the devil. So, like I said before, it is a misguided judgment that people have about the devil because of social media, because of movies, books, TV, old wives' tales, and all that good stuff. The Bible. You know, this is more than just a story of what is whatever the Bible is, we are intricately involved in science. And the only battle that's really going on is within yourself. So the question is, are you going to let yourself win? Are you going to let you when are you going to let yourself win? And yes, I'm stating that the notion of God that you understand is the reason why you're losing the battle with yourself, because you keep trying to destroy a part of yourself that needs to be there in order for you to exist. So at the end of the day, whether you don't like the notion that I say God is a usurper or God is stealing power, it's still what's going on. And it's going on outside of you, and it's going on inside of you too, which is actually incredible if you think about it. Think about it for 2 seconds. You have a war raging within your soul, and you're like this massive entity, right? You're like the universe. You're like the universe. Think about it this way. You're like the universe. You're infinite, right? And there's these little beings in the universe fighting in order to have control over you, which is the universe. You're the universe. And they're fighting to have control over you, right? But at the same time, outside of you being the universe, you're fighting a war against other universes, against infinity too, which is incredible, right? I know that's hard to picture. I would literally, maybe I should actually edit a little bit and have a fucking, I don't know. I would have to literally create that image myself, which I don't have time to do because, I'm always being, attacked in some shape or form, mentally, spiritually, or emotionally. So I don't have the mind to do that shit. Some people do. Maybe I should pay somebody to do that, but I'm kind of low on cash too. So I don't know, whatever. I'm broke as a Joe. I am broke as a Joe, man. So anyways, and I understand why I'm broke as a Joe, because I don't think the government wants this kind of information to be accessible to everybody. I don't think YouTube want this information to be accessible to everybody. I don't think people want this information to be accessible to everybody. I don't think the government wants that to be accessible to everybody. I don't think the Vatican and the Catholics want this information available to everybody, obviously. So I get attacked a lot, and there's a lot of fucking bullshit going on at the same fucking time, and it is what it is, but there's still people listening. There's I have an average of 20 people listening. So I guess that's good enough for now. So anyways, back to what we were saying. Try to imagine inside of you, there's a battlefield inside of you, but there's also a battlefield outside of you at the same time. I don't know if you can. You probably can't. It's hard to believe, and it's hard to wrap your head around. But that's exactly what's going on. And the biggest problem, one of the problems, because there's more than one problem, the biggest problem is your conception of God, is your idea of God. And that's not your fault. It was a clever trick. It was a very clever trick Very clever. I am impressed by it. I was talking about it yesterday with one of my viewers, with Jafar. I was commenting about it. I'm in awe. Yes, it was easy. Like, I'm saying, like, what they did at this point, I'm in awe because people, like, whatever they're doing, people are not even trying to fight back. Like, they're not even, it's just fucking easy. Like, they're not even breaking a sweat. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, wow. Like, it's mind blowing, right? But I'm also in awe because it's a clever fucking trick. Like, they used, I didn't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. They used the yin yang thing because if I did, the last time I alluded to it, you guys probably remember, but the last time I alluded to the yin yang effect, I didn't want to say it because I know there's some fucking hardcore to the bone Christians that's gonna find a way to make that shit positive. Like, they're gonna find a way to make that shit work for them. Like, so I didn't want to say the word yin yang, but that's what it is. Let's be honest. Fuck it. Let's be honest. This is a yin yang effect. And if you understand the yin and the yang, you understand who the fuck God is. And God ain't the good guy in this story. The light is not where you think it is. It's somewhere else. You got to go through darkness in order to find the light. That's how everybody did it. That's how we always did it. And that's how we're going to keep doing it. End of story. You can't find the light within the light. How you gonna find light if everything around you is light? No, if you're walking in the light, you're gonna find some darkness. My nigga, like, end of story. If you walk long enough in the light, you gonna find some shit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You're gonna find the mean in the mean. Sorry. I'll be wilding sometimes. My brain is, I'm fucked up. I'm a fucked up person. So anyways, but if you walk in darkness long enough, you might find some light. How can you see light if you're surrounded by light? It don't make no sense. It doesn't make sense. How can you see light if you're surrounded by light, bro? Everything is light. Now I'm trying to find the light. And you're walking in light? Like, what? You're trying to find a pin in a stack of pins? How can you fucking find a pin in a stack of pins, man? You got some good ass fucking eyes. I'm gonna tell you that. You know what I mean? No, for real, dog. Like, you gonna find a needle in the haystack. You know what I mean? At least a needle in the haystack, you can see it. But that's what the darkness is. The darkness is the needle in the haystack. You can find a needle in the I mean, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard as shit. But at least the needle looks different from the haystack, so you have a chance to find that fucking needle. But then you're gonna find a straw of hay in a batch of hay. Nigga, good luck. You're gonna be there for a long ass time. I mean, you're gonna be there for a long fucking time. You know, that's crazy. So if you really want to find the light, you got to walk through darkness. You ain't going to find any light. If you walk in light, you're going to find darkness. That's what the fuck you're going to find. And you can say whatever you want, but I'm pretty sure everybody on the planet agrees with that shit because they probably experienced it. I don't care how much you believe in. As a matter of fact, it's even the more you believe in God, the more I believe you found darkness in the shit that you were believing in. End of story. There's nobody's story is different from what I'm saying. No one. The more you believe, the more bullshit you saw, and the more angry you was. Period. Period. But when you walk through the darkness, you already know what's there. You already know what's happening. You walking through the darkness, you're like, okay, this is dark shit. Okay. Alright. I'm going to keep walking. Alright. I'm going to keep looking. Alright. I'm going to try to understand. Alright. And then at some point, at some time and point, you saw a little bit of light. And I'm putting it mildly. I don't want to make myself look too good, you know what I mean? I don't want to make myself look too good, so I'm going to just say that. But remember, I was built perfect. I was built perfect. And that's another fucking thing. People aren't perfect. That's true. And it's dangerous to say that people are perfect, because then you're going to go out and, people. No. People are trash. But they were built perfectly still. They were still built perfectly. There was no mistake in the building of a person. We are born. I was born perfect. I don't know about you, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to say I was born perfect. Look at me. Look at me. I'm perfect. You know. So anyways, I was built perfect. So fuck being humble. That's being humble is an idle mind. You don't want to have an idle mind. You're being too humble, you're going to end up in hell. It's good to be humble a little bit, but don't do it too much. Because if you do it too much, you're going to die. And you don't want to die. You want to live. Nobody wants to die. There's no gods that wants to die. God wants to live forever. You want to live forever. Everybody wants to live forever. Everybody has to go at some point, or for some reason. But nobody wants to die. If somebody says he wants to die, it's because he wants to live. He just doesn't have the opportunity to live. So that's why he says he wants to die. If somebody says he wants to die, it's because something around that nigga is doing wrong. Or maybe that nigga notices too many wrong shit. He don't want to die. He wants to die because everybody else around him is already dead. So that means he wants to live. He wants to live with y'all, but y'all don't want to live with him. And that's just facts. That's just straight facts. Y'all don't want to live with him. It's not him that don't want to live with you. It's you that don't want to live with him. Because y'all on some bullshit. Hold up. Give me a second here. So, let's recapitulate here. The concept of heaven and hell is you hold the key to which gate that you want to open. And the way to enter the key into the door is based off of how you're thinking. So let's say your astral body is standing still in an intersection, because that's what everybody's doing at the end of the day. We're standing still and we're looking at different roads. That's your astral body. That's your everyday astral body. Your everyday astral body looks at different roads, or he walks on different roads. But at the end, or where you want to end up, because there's a limit to the shit you can do at the end of the day. And when you reach that gate, the way to walk, the way that your astral body walks, the way that how to make your astral body walk, right, is by using your mind. When you use your mind, your astral, you're giving motion to your astral body. You're giving motion to your consciousness. You're giving motion to your spirit. You are guiding your spirit towards something. Some people feel like spirit is guiding them. No, you're actually the one guiding spirit. Your spirit needs your help as much as you need your spirit's help. You are guiding your spirit towards the door that you want to open. So you're creating, and at the same time, you're actually capable. Your astral self has powers. Your astral self can create dimensions. It can create planes of existence, right? Also, it can access planes of existence. So you can create your paradise. You don't have, this is where the vampires come in. You don't have to go to hell. You don't have to go to heaven. You can create your own paradise. But that takes a little bit more know-how and a little bit more courage. You see, the biggest problem with homosexuality these days is that homosexuality has been kicked out of spirituality. And this is why they're coming after us. That's why they're coming after us. Spirituality has kicked out homosexuality. Because homosexuality is a very natural and everyday thing. It is. I'm sorry to say it. It is. It is. You're born a man. You're born a female. Fine. That is true. That is facts. You're supposed to go out with a girl. Everybody knows that. Or if you're a man, you're supposed to go out with a girl. If you're a girl, you're supposed to go out with a man. Everybody knows that. Your body tells you that every day. You can't deny what your body tells you. If you have a penis, your penis is supposed to go in the vagina. Part of my language. But your body tells you that every fucking day of your freaking life, every second, every moment. You cannot deny that fact. It's an undeniable fact. It's undeniable. But you cannot deny. You can choose. You can choose to deny that reincarnation exists. You can choose to deny that your conscious doesn't really have a sex. It's energy. Your consciousness is just energy. It's not male or female. It's not black or white. Your consciousness is ideas and creation and creativity. That's what your consciousness is. Your consciousness is your mind. A mind doesn't have a penis. A mind doesn't have a vagina. Right? It's like being God, right? God doesn't have a penis, doesn't have a vagina. He can choose to have a penis. He can choose to have a vagina because he can do whatever the fuck he wants, right? Pardon my language. Pause. Not true, but true at the same time. No offense meant. So, this is why subconsciously homosexuals have a tendency to be more aggressive consciously, because we have built our philosophy on face value perceptions. He's a baby, he has a vagina, so he has to be a girl. True. Completely true. But that does not mean that this baby that has a vagina or has a penis is not aware or have stigmats or heightened perception on this reality that he's living right now. So now we're stumbling in psychology. We're stumbling in parapsychology, because that's what it is. That we're talking about parapsychology. We're talking about metaphysics. Metaphysically speaking, this child still has his own worldly experience. This child does have a soul. This child does have a spirit. This child does have his own intelligence, including the intelligence of his parents and his ancestors and all the people that came before him. Is it normal to be gay? Yes and no. Yes and no. There's no, like, I'm not surprised if a man is attracted to me. Why? Because I look good. So why would I be surprised if a man is attracted to me? I'm not surprised if a woman is attracted to me, and I'm not surprised if a man is attracted to me either. Right? Because I'm beautiful. You're supposed to be attracted to me. It's completely normal that you're attracted to me. Completely normal. But it's your duty to understand why you're attracted to me. I understand why you're attracted to me. I'm the one that's attracting the person. Of course I know why. Because I'm magnificent. Because I want to be magnificent. Because I choose to be magnificent. I want you to be attracted to me. Right? But now you need to understand why you're attracted to me. And that's a even better question. That's an even better thing to find out. Not why you're not supposed to care why I care about why you're attracted to me. You're supposed to be interested in why you're attracted to other people. And I don't think it's biological. And that's the problem with homosexuality nowadays. It's very biological. And that's why you have fruit pops. Pardon my language. Pardon me for saying. That's why you have homosexuals with lots of flair, because they're not looking at it from a spiritual standpoint. They're looking at it as a biological standpoint. They're like, my penis is standing up, therefore I am gay. It's not that easy. Nothing is. Nothing is that easy. Your penis is standing up because you're letting your penis stand up. First of all, first things first. Because you are releasing the inhibition of saying no. You're releasing the inhibition of people's mindset and society and civilization as a whole. You might not notice at the time, but that's what happened. You saw a river and you decided to jump in it. You don't have to jump in the river. Nobody's forcing you to jump in the river. You can just go to another river. You can. You don't have to jump in that river, but you chose to jump in that river. Now you need to understand why you jump in that river. Because at the end of the day, and I'm not saying, I'm kind of saying, no, I'm not saying that homosexuals have a immediate spiritual aspect to them. But the reason why you're homosexual is because of a spiritual aspect that you are not aware of. I don't think homosexuals are walking around town being all fucking psychic and shit and being aware of their past lives and shit like that and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, some of them actually do. Because I listen to these YouTube videos. I listen to what people say. I listen. I might not agree, but I listen. And there's a specific notion that comes back around that is still trying to be scientifically proven, that biologically a man can be born gay. No, that is not true. That is complete bullshit. Finding another person attractive is biologically normal. It is mentally normal to find people attractive. There's nothing more normal than that. It's like farting. It's like burping and farting. It's completely normal. The problem is you do not have access to teachers or schools explaining to you the notion of spirituality, the notion of being male, having male and female energy, the notion of feeding or choosing to feed the female aspect or feeding the male aspect. These things are all your choice. Choices that should have been clear when you got here. But unfortunately, there's no handbook on, when you're born. It's not like you're born and the doctors give you a handbook on how to raise a human being and what it means to the rest of the universe. There's no book like that. You're born, you go home, they smack you on the butt, they give you a pacifier and a fucking lollipop, and then you go home and then figure it out. That's it. That's how it is. That's how we're born. Everybody's born like that. Pop you out, get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, pop you out, get the fuck out. Like that's it. That's how we're born. And that's not how we should be born. That's not how we should be born. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on. Like I said, there's a war outside of you, and there's a war within you. And you're consistently choosing where you're going and who you're choosing to be with. Unfortunately, we have gone a little bit too far. So right now, all these notions that I speak of could be null and dull. They could be. All the notions that I speak of right now could be null and dull because it might be already too late. It might be. I don't know. I'm not sure. But one thing I do know, like I said before, is that you create where you end up. And whether you believe in the energy of heaven and hell, I dare to say that that energy still exists. There's a positive, there's a negative. Energy comes from somewhere. You're the fusion of that energy. You are a fusion reactor. You're a walking fusion reactor. You have positive and negative energy coursing through your body at all times. And when your journey finally ends, not to say die, but when your journey finally ends, when your current journey finally ends, dictates where that energy is going to go. And I'm afraid that I don't think your energy can go both ways. Because if your energy goes both ways, that means you're destroyed. You're being ripped apart. And reality gives you too many opportunities and too many choices to have the chance to go both ways. So what you decide, how you perceive life, how you act within life, is the thing that's going to dictate where your energy is going to end up. You might end up on the negative spectrum, or you might end up on the positive spectrum. But one thing's for sure, it's gonna end up somewhere. And heaven and hell is positive, negative energy. Hell is negative, allegedly. Heaven is positive, allegedly. Based on that notion, based on energetic level notion, you should believe in the notion of heaven and hell. You should understand that there is a heaven and that there is a hell and it exists. You should even believe, you should go as far to believing, if you're smart enough, if you're wise enough, if you know enough, that these things are not far away from you, that you are closely attached to these two planes of existence every day of your life. The sense of scale, as I say once more, how is your sense of scale doing lately? People think, y'all people think when I say sense of scale, I'm just trying to be a jerk, or I'm just trying to be arrogant or something. Or I'm just trying to be arrogant. Yeah. No. Your sense of scale dictates how close you are to heaven or how close you are to hell. Your sense of scale dictates how much heaven that you are creating and how much hell that you're creating. That's what your sense of scale is doing on a consistent basis. Because like I said before, you are closely attached to these two realms. So these two realms are accessible at this present time. You don't have to wait until you die. They're accessible right now. But it depends on how you perceive things. It depends if you're capable of perceiving things. It depends on how much wisdom that you have. It depends on how much understanding that you have. It depends on how much perception that you have. Your third eye. So every day, you're getting closer to hell. Every day humanity is going closer to hell. There's a heaven in hell, and there's a hell in heaven. You cannot escape anything. You cannot escape yourself, no matter how hard you try. You can't escape yourself. How can you escape yourself? You're you. You can't. Where are you gonna go? You might be able to escape other people. You might be able to escape things, people, and places. That, yes, because you have two legs and you can run fucking fast. That is very possible. Yes, but at the end of the day, you can't escape yourself, and that where the terror for me should come from, because you're going to face me someday, somehow, if you keep going in the path that you're going. And I'm not gonna do anything. I don't torture people. Well, maybe sometimes. But you have to be a really bad person for me to do that. You have to be a really fucking bad person for me to do that. But on a consistent, but the millions and trillions of people living in hell, I didn't put them there. They put themselves there. This is what they felt like being. This is what they chose. They could have chose something else. They chose to be there. How did they choose to be there? By having an idle mind. Don't look at me and tell me to take care of myself, bro. You got other fucking issues to deal with. You got some serious fucking issues to deal with. And I would get on it right now if I was you. Like, I would skedaddle out of here and get the fucking working. Because like I said, whoever I am does not necessarily affect who you are. It only affects who you are if you let it affect who you are. I already got mine. You need to go get yours before it's too late. And you can choose to disregard this as the ravings of a madman. Fine. But listen to the video again and look at it on a logical standpoint and a scientific standpoint if you do not believe in metaphysics. And you will understand, whether you want to accept it or not, that it's the truth. It's just the truth. Your energy has to go somewhere. At the end of the day, your energy needs to go somewhere. It will go back from whence it came. wherever whence it came is. I don't care. At that point, I don't care and I don't mind. That's none of my business. That's not my business. My business is not to make sure that your mind wanders from one place to another. No. I have a garden and I tend to it. That's it. Everything else is all on you. God is not going to save you. He can't. That's not his job. His job is to make sure that your mind wanders every fucking where at the same time. That's what his job is. I don't do that. I have no reason to. Do you know how many people that are already in hell? Do you understand? You know how many people died? How many times you died? I probably have different versions of you in hell. Do you understand the amount of dead people? Could you even fathom? It's immense. Hell is immense. It's just as big as heaven. Do you want to end up in heaven? I don't think so. Not really. Maybe on some level, but not really. Heaven is synonymous to death. If you are a dweller in hell, it is very different. It's very different. And dwelling in hell is not for everyone. It's for specific people. What you're supposed to do is create your own paradise. What you're supposed to do is go back to Eden. How do you go back to Eden? Well, first of all, you need to understand that you are Eden. You're supposed to be paradise. You're not supposed to be hell. You're not supposed to be heaven. You're supposed to be paradise. Most people think they're heaven. You're supposed to be paradise. What does that mean? You're supposed to be water. You're supposed to be refreshing as water. You're supposed to be nourishing as water is. You're supposed to be the tree of life. What does that mean? You're supposed to be knowledgeable. You're supposed to be comforting. You're supposed to give a nice shade, a nice cooling shade. You're supposed to give fruit so that people can eat. For Westerners and Occidentalists, this is a very important notion. This actually, whatever I'm saying right now, directly affects you. Because unfortunately, some powers that be have made you more successful, more not successful, but I guess, yeah, more successful than most countries in the world. I'm not saying all the countries in the world should come to you. Or maybe I am. Shit, who knows? But maybe this is idealistic. But I do believe in the gift that keeps on giving. A tree branches out. It doesn't branch back into itself. It branches out. So the trick is, how do I become a bigger tree? That's what the trick is. That's what you need to discover. How do I become a bigger tree? How do I make my branches reach out more? Well, start by being an oasis first. Start by being a little oasis. Start by being a little Garden of Eden. And we'll figure it out from there. So I said something very important yesterday in my last video. God is using humans. We are a farm right now. We are just a farm. We're being farmed. And that is a heinous crime that he will pay for, and he knows it. There's no denying it. There's no escaping it. But we are being farmed. I don't know. I don't think people want to stop the farming process. I think a lot of people actually profit off of the farming process. And this is one of the reasons why I feel like some of the notions that I say here today are null and dull, because at the end of the day, I don't think people are ready to go back that far. I don't think people are ready to take back who they are. And in some cases, they're not in a position to take back who they are. So I guess people like me are extremely lucky. I'm going to call it luck. I mean, of course, it's skill a little bit. I guess it's 50% skill, 50% luck. Half man, half amazing. It's 50% skill, 50% luck. Because some country don't have, even though they have the culture, even though they have the philosophy, they don't have the opportunity. You see, at the end of the day, I had to learn all of these things. I didn't know all of these things. I still had to learn it. So I was lucky enough to be in a country where I was able to do that. Would I have been the same person if I was born in another country? Maybe. Maybe. I'm not that sure. You know, like I'm not that sure. Maybe. You know, you are who you are at the end of the day. But I don't know. I feel like, and I also feel like the government knows this, and that's why they attack us psychologically and sometimes physically, because they know that we can branch out. They know that we are the tree. They know it. They're just trying to they're cutting. You know when you see the government come through your hood and they cut the trees, the branches of the trees because they're growing out too much? That's what they're doing. But to us,